Hare Krishna. So am I audible to everyone?
Hare Krishna, Mother. Please accept our humble obeisances.
Krishna is
Yes,
accepting.
yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay, sorry for the delay. Since it's a new place again, I need to time to set everything. So I think when it will be okay on Monday, since I'll be staying here only. Okay, let's start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So yes, welcome to the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We are coming towards the climax of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, 18th chapter is like a conclusion of whatever Krishna spoke right from second chapter until chapter 70. Like a conclusion. That's why the perfection of renunciation, it's a conclusion. Krishna is introducing all the topics in chapter 2. That is introduction to all the topics and conclusion of all the topics in chapter 18. So let us get into it. The chapter starts with the question of Arjuna. So just okay, wait. Arjuna Uvacha Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditum Yagasya Cha Hrishikesha Pratak Keshi Nishudana. Please read the translation.
Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas, O killer of Keshi demon, master of the senses.
So Arjuna wanted to clarify one more time, is sannyasa and tyaga are the same or is it different? And he wanted to know what to clarify for himself. There's a reason why he is asking this specifically, this question. What does it mean by tyaga? What does it mean by sannyasa? So just please read the highlight, Prabhu, then I'll explain something important.
Yes, Mataji. In every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna stresses that devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of life.
So same point is summarized in the 8th chapter also. We will see in the end. Please continue, Prabhu.
The purpose of life is indicated to be renunciation and attainment of the transcendental position above the three material modes of nature. Arjuna wants to clarify the two distinct subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, namely renunciation, tyaga,
And the renounced order of life.
and the renounced order.
Yeah, just sorry, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
And the renounced order of life, sannyas. Thus, he is asking the meaning of these two. Arjuna requests him to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equipoised. Yet he has some doubts, and doubts are always compared to demons. He therefore addresses Krishna as Keshi Nishudana. Keshi was the most formidable demon who was killed by the Lord. Now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of doubt.
Okay. So Arjuna is asking the question regarding the purpose of renunciation, that is tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, that is sannyasa. So what he's trying to actually tell us, in order instead of we are understanding that Arjuna is clarifying for himself. In fact, Arjuna is clarifying for us through his questions. So what does it mean by sannyasa? Sannyasa is giving up the enjoying mentality. Giving up the enjoying mentality. And giving up the idea that I am the cause of the result of my activities. So sannyasa means giving up the enjoying mentality and giving up the idea that I am the cause of the result of my activities for my own sense gratification. That is what one person is giving up. That is called as sannyasa. Why Arjuna is asking this question? Because he wanted to give up fighting. But Krishna said, you should fight, right? And Krishna also clarified, you are fighting not for your sense gratification. You should fight for my pleasure. That is, Krishna is saying that you should fight for my pleasure. So Arjuna wants to clarify the real purpose of Tyaga and Sannyasa. Tyaga and Sannyasa is to please Krishna. Tyaga is we are actually renouncing the results. We are not attached to any results. We are just working for the sake of work. We are serving for the sake of pleasing the Lord, Guru and Gauranga. So that is why Arjuna wants to clarify the real purpose of Tyaga and Sannyasa is to please Krishna. So if I please Krishna, then am I like a sannyasi? Yes, that's the real understanding. Without accepting the sannyasa order, just by working to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, still I am like a sannyasi. Is it the real understanding? Yes, that's the real understanding. So that's why he's asking this question. So once again, one more time, I can repeat. So sannyasa means not like accepting the renounced order of life here. The sannyasa means giving up the enjoying mentality and giving up the idea that I am the cause of the results of my activities, which I perform for my own sense gratification. So giving up that. So Arjuna wanted to give up fighting, but Krishna said that he should fight. He should fight not for his own sense gratification, but to please the Supreme Personality of God. So Arjuna wants to clarify the real purpose of Tyaga and Sannyasa is to please Krishna. Yes, that's the understanding here. So Tyaga and Sannyasa. Yes, the purpose of life is to, renunciation means what we are renouncing, the enjoying mentality we should renounce, and the idea that I am the cause of, I am the reason for the success of these activities, whatever activities within devotional service, and coming above the three modes of material nature. Why he's we see Arjuna is addressing Krishna in different names. Here specifically he's asking, he's addressing Krishna as Keshi Nishudana, just like Krishna killed the Keshi demon. Arjuna wanted to kill the demon of doubt. Yes, Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu, you raised your hand first.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my most humble obeisances. So, Mataji, I have a question here. Since you are saying or sharing that the real meaning of sannyasa means is to please Krishna, then why do we have sannyasa ashram? Because Krishna can be pleased in any of the three ashrams. Then why we have renounced order of life as a part of one ashram?
Yeah. So this is actually, even though he is a grahastha, he can be on the sannyasa. Like this is just not the renounced order of life. This is actually like a sannyasi, the mentality, by the mentality. Even a sannyasi also cannot have an enjoying mentality, right? So that sannyasa order is supposed to be like that's in a varnashrama, Prabhu, everything is actually designed so that one can actually progress in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada writes in the second chapter that varnashrama is a stepping stone for spiritual life, right? So it is designed in such a way that you slowly renounce activities step by step. It's not abruptly. Like first you go through the training of brahmacharya for 25 years. This is calculated according keeping the lifespan as 100 years, an ideal. age, duration of life. So 25 years you go through brahmacharya training, get nicely trained. Either you can actually uh, transgress these two ashram, directly take up sannyasa, that's also allowed. Or the gradual, this system is also allowed, like 25 years again in grihastha 25 years in vanaprastha, and then one gradual. But then the heart is purified in 3 stages. Of course, in vanaprastha stage, no sense pleasure, sense control specifically there, dedicating one's life in more in spiritual activities rather than material activities. Proportion should be spiritual activities is more and material activities is less. One doesn't even maintain himself by yearning in vanaprastha order. The other, especially grihastha ashram, is supposed to maintain them. So gradually, that's a natural sequence which is designed by the Supreme Lord, that is varnashram, so that one can gradually cleanse the heart. And yes, sannyas, of course, our idea of sannyas is to preach, right? In Kali Yuga, sannyas, even though the sannyas ashram is like forbidden, which is the Ekadanda sannyas is forbidden, not the Tridandi. Tridandi is the Vaishnava sannyas. What is Tridandi represents? Body, mind, and words, engaging in the service of the Lord. So that's a natural sequence. Everyone is expected, because varnashrama is actually helping us. It's a gradual purification. As I said, that's not our prime goal. Bhakti is our prime goal. Prema Bhakti is our prime goal. This varnashrama is acting like a support system, so that everyone knows where to play, what is my boundary, where I'm supposed to, the next stage, right? So that's a natural sequence. So here, what does it mean by the renounced order of life? Even though he's a grihastha, but he is asking that if every one of us be in this mentality, that renouncing the enjoying mentality and doing everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then am I like a sannyasi? So you got this, Prabhu. Naturally, it is expected. It is glorious, actually, the varnashram system, that you so that the cleansing of the heart takes place gradually, and then one enters into sannyasa ashram. So yes, Prabhu, so that does
Yes,
that clarify your...
Yes, Mataji. One follow-up question to that. So,
Yes.
Mataji, since it's a purification process starting from brahmacharya to sannyas, so if so we generally see not all people take sannyas, right? Some stagger to 1%, some stagger to grihastha. So is it that they're not purified?
I'll just tell the concept, okay? Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter says 1.2 I think 7. I'll just check. Anyway, the sloka is Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Haitu. If someone is performing devotional service, what is the result? The result is detachment towards material life and the knowledge of devotional service. This is the result. So we are not purposefully renouncing, but if one is serious in his practice of devotional service, naturally one can experience the detachment from material life. So I cannot say generalize, but I'm just saying, if someone is okay, if one is not able to move to the next stage, then we need to focus more. And also we need to discuss with the concerned authorities, like what do you think, if it is better to be in vanaprastha ashram and travel and preach, or sannyasa ashram? So that should be discussed with the concerned spiritual masters too. But this is the natural expectation that by performing devotional service, one automatically renounces. That's what the verse says. That if someone is sincere in their practice of devotional service, naturally they can experience detachment. So you got the answer,
Okay.
Prabhu? Pandit
Yes,
Gadadhar.
yes, Mataji. Yes,
So
yes. Thank you,
this is
Mataji.
the principle. It's applicable for everyone. According to their stage, one has to practice detachment. It's not like same. Like, see, if someone is newly married, let's say, I like the newly married girl or boy cannot say no, I'm practicing detachment, or that is impractical for them at that point of time. At that point of time, it is natural for them to get attached to each other so that they can become attached to Krishna, being in Grahastha. So after 30 years of their married life, right, then they should not say, I'm still attached to my husband, I'm still attached to my wife. So that the gradual attachment one should develop and get themselves attached to the Supreme Lord. So you got it, Prabhu? Depends on
Yes, Mataji.
each circumstances, one has to practice detachment. So does it clarify?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, thank you.
Yes, Krishna Priya. Ma.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Well, half of my question has been like clarified by your example,
Okay.
this example. But also, I would like to know what are the counter examples of tyaga. It seems to be tyaga, but it is not a tyaga in a real sense, and it seems to be a renunciation, and it is not actually renunciation in our daily like life, because we see people say we have renounced so many things, but they, when we look at their words, their actions, then it's somewhere there's a doubt whether it's a real tyaga or it's a real renounced order of life.
So I think I have said before itself, we can't judge people from whatever they speak, their words. It is very internal. It's very internal. For our personal practice, we need to understand that yes, as whatever shloka I said to Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu's response, that Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayajitaha Janayati Ashu Vairag.
Like we see our seniors, senior most people, for some says he or she is a really brahmachari, or they are very detached from life. So if we start uh, imitating them, so is it correct, or we should see, because we are not on that level, we can judge whether this is a correct renunciation or correct tyaga or not. So we have to see somebody, we have to follow somebody. But if you are saying we should not judge, then what is the right way to?
So you are asking some role model, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So the principles are very clear, crystal clear in Prabhupada's purport. So if someone is renounced, if you can go through, like, not only from Bhagavad Gita, then Bhagavatam, so many things. Like, just I'll tell you an example, a live example shared from a devotee who is very, very close to me. So before coming to Krishna consciousness, they were not financially so well off. So even though she wanted to buy whatever, especially being in a woman body, obviously she's attached to clothing, different kinds of clothing. She wanted to buy, but she's not able. She can't afford to buy. Okay, that was that time. That time that was the situation. But later, just after 2-3 years of her married life, everything changed in her life. She became Krishna consciousness. Her husband got a very nice position. Like, no, they became very well off. They become serious devotees also. They started practicing Krishna consciousness and so many things in that 15-20 years of their life. So many, Krishna has transformed the life. Okay, but whatever desires she had was that time. But now she's able to buy everything. That's not a problem. But now at this point of time, she doesn't want anything like material. She said, like, whatever I have is sufficient for me. I don't want anything. But what happens is, I don't know, whatever, like, Krishna has in plan for her. She said so many devotees are gifting her clothes, and clothes. And she said, I don't want clothes. I want Krishna Prem now at this point of time, because she's whatever she had gone through, like kind of she's done with life. She's okay. What at that time she did not have that realization in Krishna consciousness. So she said, "Oh, I'm not able to afford, so I'm not able to buy, unable to buy like what others are buying." But after coming to Krishna consciousness, she has got enough and more money. She can buy. It's not that someone have to give. She has gained yeah, definitely has got much more, and she is dedicating her life for the movement. But still, for her service, so Krishna is sending her gifts through so many devotees. But said she was just sharing with me, I don't want anything. I'm done with life. I want to detach from all these things. That's a natural detachment because I know her personally that if she wants, she can buy, but she is not buying. Whatever gift she is getting, she is actually distributing to devotees. So you
That
got
is an
the answer.
intentional give up of something. When
Yeah.
we are
Yes.
intentionally, where
Yes.
there is a ceiling on desires, we can say.
So she's done. That detachment came because of her practice of devotional service. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, Krishna Priya Mataji.
Ji, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So the result is the practice of devotional service. See, if she want, she herself can buy, she herself can accept the gifts and keep enjoying. But what's the point? That is what she was sharing. What's the point? I'm done with life without having knowledge of devotional service. I was attached to these things, but now I want to focus in my Krishna consciousness. So with a live example, I gave you, Mataji. So I hope this gave you some idea. And again, it depends on individual to individual basis, renunciation. It is not, okay, as a principle, yes, that is what I told Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu also. As a principle, yes, but it depends on which stage we are in our life. That's why I gave the example of a newly married couple and a couple who are like no married after 25, 30 years. So, Krishna Priya Mataji, is it clear for you now?
Yes, Mataji, is very much clear. So it means we should not give any judgment on the renounced by the lifestyle of certain devotees.
Yes,
Because
yes.
what I see, like there are certain devotees, they only wish to wear one or two clothes for coming to the temple. So other devotees say, oh, doesn't she have some more saris, or why isn't she's not have some more income? So devotees should also understand this point, that we should not judge somebody on their external behavior.
Yes. So that
Thank
is
you,
what
Mataji.
we learned from Pundarika Vidyanidhi's pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? So he was well dressed. Actually, Gadadhar Pandit thought that he is like kind of materialist, but when the Bhagavatam shloka was recited, then he became ecstatic, right? So similarly, we should not judge any devotees from their external. Maybe someone is very nice. I know some devotee who is again very close to me. Like she has a choice of things, but the way she dedicate herself for the service, especially the last 2 days, I know how much she has worked. Not only 2 days, it started from 1 week preparation for Janmashtami. But like whenever she comes in a proper clothing, nice. She's like up to date. But I know what dedication she has for her spiritual master, she has towards the service towards the Supreme Lord and also devotees. So depends on case to case. So is it satisfying you, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, I said that. Thank you so much.
Yes. Let's move to Vishaka. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I wanted to ask for the link of 18th chapter as I was not able to hear you because of my connectivity issues.
Okay. No, just I said in the beginning that until 17th chapter, the Bhagavad Gita is kind of what Prabhupada also mentions in the purport. So whatever topics Krishna started introduced in chapter 2, Krishna is concluding those in chapter 8. That's it. Someone can help me
What
in.
arises the question in the Arjuna's mind
Yeah.
about sannyasa and tyaga.
Tyaga, because Arjuna wanted to clarify his question. That's what I told in the beginning, that he wanted to clarify his question because Krishna is asking him to fight, and but Arjuna doesn't want to fight. He wants to give up fighting based on sense gratification. But Krishna said, you should fight because that fighting pleases him. You should fight for the
Okay.
pleasure of Krishna. That is what. Can someone find the purport where Prabhupada says that actually Bhagavad Gita ends in 17th chapter? I wanted to highlight it, but yeah, see, first line of the purport itself is. Vishaka, hope you are seeing is actually the Bhagavad Gita is finished in 17 chapters. The 18th chapter is a supplementary summation of the topics discussed before. Does it clarify your query?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So as Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu, as you said, we need many examples of men taking up sannyas, grihasthas taking up sannyas. Because we are missionaries, we need to work towards it. So, next verse spoken by the Supreme Lord himself in answer to Arjuna's question. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Palatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha. Please read the translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men called the renounced order of life, sannyas, and giving up the results of all activities is what the wise men called renunciation, tyaga.
Yeah. So again, what is sannyasa? Krishna is clarifying. Renouncing materially motivated activities. That is what in Sanskrit is called as kamya karma. Kamyanam karmanam. There are three kinds of activities which Prabhupada explains in chapter 2, text number 47. Who remembers the three activities? Does someone remember the three kinds of activities which Prabhupada explains in second chapter Bhagavad Gita, text number Karmaneva Adhikarasti Ma Phaleshu Kadachana verse? Okay. So,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
yes, Vishaka.
Is it karam, akaram, and vikaram?
That is something different we see in chapter 3. In chapter 2, in the purport 247, Prabhupada explains three kinds of activities. That is daily activity, emergency activity, and desired activity. So I'll tell you in Sanskrit, daily activities is nitya karma, emergency activities is naimitika karma, desired activity is kamya karma. So this nitya karma and naimitika karma are there in line with scriptures that everyone is supposed to do. Nitya karma, like waking up early, taking a bath, applying tilak, chanting our rounds, attending Bhagavatam. So all these are nitya karma, daily activities which everyone is expected to do. Then emergency activities, some samskaras, which we are not doing every day. Like, like the other day we discussed Garbhadan Samskara, Shimanto Nayana, Pumsavana, and when the baby is born, there are different activities like Anna Prashna, taking the baby out to the temple of Vishnu, and then the boy actually going to school to take Vedic education. There are different samskaras. These are all coming under emergency duties, which in Sanskrit is called as naimitika karma. So nitya karma, naimitika karma. So what Krishna says here, what is to be given up is kamya karma, material activities, material desires. Kamya karma is desired activities. For desired activities, there is no mention in the scripture. In the scripture, there is no like desired activities. Like for example, like I want to buy a big house. get a big house or build a big house, whatever it is. So I'm taking a loan. So there is no mention of taking a loan in Shastra to build a big house. I can say an excuse. No, I wanted to accommodate, I want to accommodate many devotees at my home. I want to have a kirtan program. I need a big hall. So I want a big house. That is including Krishna in sense gratification, right? So Kamya Karma is desired activities. Like I'll tell you an example, since there are so many ladies which everyone can relate. Of course, men also can relate to this example. Kamya Karma is how many days in a year?
365.
365 days. Okay, Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu, you wanted to own 365 kurtas and dhoti. That is desired activity or daily activity, Prabhu?
Desired, Mataji.
Okay. How much time you require to maintain that?
Sorry?
How much time you require to maintain 365 dhoti and kurta?
Mm,
You need to, some needs to be hand washed, some needs to be dry
yes,
washed,
Mataji.
some needs to be machine washed, needs to be ironed and stored properly, right? You need a cupboard for
Yeah.
that, right? To store 365 outfit. Of course, ladies also, like if they want 365 saris, not, I don't want all cotton. I want some raw silk. I want some South Indian silk. I want some Katak silk. So there are so many variety I want. I don't want like common all three. I want variety in life, you know. So then all saris doesn't need the same, like every variety needs a different kind of treatment in order to store it properly. I need to iron it properly. I need to have that much big cupboard to store it. So will I have time to chant 32 rounds a day? Will I have time to read Bhagavatam every day? Will I have time to preach? Or I'll be spending most of my time in this? What will I be doing?
Managing cupboard.
Managing cupboard. So this is what Krishna is saying here, that you give up kamya karma. So the giving up of activities that are, there is no sastric injunction for kamya karma. The giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call renounced order of life. So this is what one has to give up. Activities which are materially motivated. That is what is renunciation. Of course, Tyaga, we all know that yes, we have done our activity, we have done book distribution, but we are not expecting any result. My spiritual master said I need to distribute books. Prabhupada said we need to distribute books. I'm happy that I distributed books, but I'm not expecting any results out of that activity is called as Tyaga. So renunciation of materially motivated activities is what sannyasa. That is what Krishna says. And finally, he will give his own conclusion. Now he is actually quoting learned man and the wise. But then he will also give his own conclusion. Let's see. So is it clear? The three kind of activities: nitya karma, naimitika karma, and kamya karma. Nitya karma, naimitika karma are having a definitely shastric injunction. For Kamya Karma, there is no Shastric injunction. As much as Kamya Karma we decrease in our life, as much as Krishna consciousness we can increase in life. So this is what our goal. Okay, now my lifestyle is this. I'm working. I need clothing. I need to know so many things. But when a point comes, then I want to dedicate more life. So actually that is why these Vanaprastha ashram. So where one focuses more in Krishna consciousness, less in maintaining the body. That doesn't mean not maintaining the body. These kind of activities, these kind of things like clothing, all these things, it's all like towards decoration of the body. It has nothing to do with our Krishna consciousness. So as much as Kamya Karma we decrease in our life, as much as Krishna consciousness we increase in our life. So, yes, please, Shubham Prabhuji, nice to see you. Please read the purport.
The performance of activities for results has to be given up. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. But activities leading to advanced spiritual knowledge are not to be given up. There are certain sacrifices to perform to attain a good sun or to attain elevation to the higher planets. But sacrifices prompted by desires should be stopped. However, sacrifices for the purification of one's heart or for advancement in the spiritual science should not be given up.
So, sacrifices with materially motivated only should be stopped. Again, to clarification, there are certain sanskaras which we are performing in a Vaishnava way. That is actually we are not expecting anything, but it is my duty. It is mentioned in the scriptures, so I am performing it. So that should be our mentality when performing any sanskaras. So just wanted to add. So what any performance for the sake of doing it, because it's mentioned in the scriptures, that's why I mean doing. So Krishna clarifies that we need to give up kamya karma. Okay, text number 3. Tyajam doshavaditi eke karma prahur manishinah yajnadana tapa karma na tyajam iti chapare. Please read. Please continue the translation.
Some learned men declared that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as a faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of
Sacrifice. Maybe you can switch off the video and read it, Tulsi.
Ji Mataji.
Maybe you can switch off. If it is disturbing, you can switch off the video and read, I said.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Can you read the translation one more time?
Okay. Some learned men declared that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as a faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should
Never be abandoned. Okay, so the two kinds of people, learned men, they think all kind of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty. The other people, the other sages maintain that we should never be abandoned. So I'll just tell you that who are the two people. Learned man here refers to the Sankhyavadis. The Sankhyavadis, they actually deal with the 24 elements, which we have discussed many times from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Even in 13th chapter also we discussed the 24 elements. Whatever we do with the 24 elements, there will be some fault. That is what the learned man refers to, Sankhyavadis. Then the sages refers to this Mimamsapadis. What is their idea? Their idea is that we need to do only good karma and go to higher planets. Like I am the doer, that kind of mentality. I am the doer. So go to higher planets and have higher sense enjoyment. So they say that these three should never be abandoned. But the Sankhyavadis, they say that all kinds of fruitive activities are faulty. But anyway, Krishna will give his own conclusion in the end. So now Krishna is going to give his conclusion in text number 4. Yes, Vishaka.
Mataji, what was the Sanskrit word for sages?
Mimamsakas, karma mimamsakas. They say everything is only karma. There is no higher authority. That is their philosophy.
Okay, Mataji.
Yes, Shubham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, is the Sankhyavari philosophy like same as Charvakra philosophy?
Charvakra philosophy is like whatever you do, but like no kind of what is that? Stealing, something like that, no? There are two kinds of Sankhya-vadis. Here refer to the like Prabhupada clarifies, right? The Jnanis are also kind of Sankhya-vadis because they also speculate and like mental speculation. I don't think his philosophy come under the Sankhya-vadis, as far as whatever I have understood from my superiors. So now Krishna is giving his conclusion. Nishchayam shrunu me tatra yage bharata sattama yago hi purusha vyaghra trivida samprakirtitaha. Please read.
O best of the Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds.
So now he's going to say his judgment about renunciation. Now Krishna will discuss renunciation in three modes. That is what declared in scriptures to be of three kinds. Yeah, please continue the highlighted part.
Although there are differences of opinion about renunciation, here the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna gives his judgment which should be taken as final.
So again, since Arjuna asked about renunciation, Krishna is going to speak about renunciation in three modes. So as devotees in this particular chapter, we need to take up like what all the thing in mode of goodness, and also in 17th chapter, what all Krishna explains in mode of goodness, so that we do everything in mode of goodness so that we can come to pure goodness. So what should not be given up? Text number 5, Krishna is speaking. Yajnadana tapa karma natyajyam karyam eva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Please read the translation.
Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up.
Hare
They must be
Krishna.
performed.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, may I read?
Yes, yes, Mataji, please.
Thank you. Translation: acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify
even the great souls. Yes, please continue the purport. Harshika.
The yogis should perform acts for the advancement of human society. The yogis should perform acts for the advancement of human society. There are many purificatory processes for advancing a human being to a spiritual life. The marriage ceremony, for example, is considered to be one of the sacrifices. It is called Vivaha Yajna. Should a sannyasi who is in the renounced order of life and who has given up his family relations encourage the marriage ceremony? The Lord says here that any sacrifice which is meant for human welfare should never be given up. Vivaha Yajna, the marriage ceremony, is meant to regulate the human mind so that it may become peaceful for spiritual advancement. For most men, this Vivaha Yajna should be encouraged even by persons in the renounced order of life. Sannyasis should never associate with women, but that does not mean that one who is in the lower stages of life, a young man, should not accept a wife in the marriage ceremony. All prescribed sacrifices are meant for achieving the Supreme Lord. Therefore, in the lower stages, they should not be given up. Similarly, charity is for the purification of the heart. If charity is given to suitable persons, as described previously, it leads one to advanced spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
So sacrifice, charity, penance. According to, of course, we discussed what are the different kinds of sacrifice meant for householder, charity, because penance is applicable for all the ashramas. Everyone had to go through some penance, do some penance in order for spiritual progress in life. But what Krishna is saying, all these should never be given up. These, by doing this, actually one heart gets purified. Pavanani Manishina. It is actually purifying even the great souls. So Prabhupada is actually giving an example. He himself is a sannyasi, but he conducted Vyaha Yajna so that people who are on that level, it helps them to progress in their Krishna consciousness. So all these sacrifices are meant for pleasing the Supreme Lord. So that is what Krishna is. Finally, his opinion is the final opinion. It should be, Prabhupada is writing that although there are difference of opinion regarding renunciation, but the Supreme Lord gives us a judgment which should be taken as final. So yes, now Krishna is going to discuss renunciation in 3 modes. The next 3 verses. First is let me read the Sanskrit. एतानि अपि तु कर्माणि संगं त्यक्त्वा फलानि च कर्तव्यानीति मे पार्थ निश्चितं मतमुत्तमम्. This is the translation.
All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pratha. That is my final opinion.
So all these activities, what are the activities? Krishna said. Now, the previous verse. What are the activities?
Sacrifice, penance, and charity.
Yes. Sacrifice, penance, and charity, they should be performed, but without attachment or without expecting any result. For the sake of performing it, one should perform. So that is what is Krishna's opinion. And all these 3 activities contain knowledge. Sacrifice, charity, penance. All these 3 activities contain knowledge that purifies the heart. Because if you see the translation, sorry, I just moved ahead. Penance purify even the great souls. How does it purify, one may ask? Then all these 3 activities contain knowledge. Because when it has knowledge, then we'll question when we do that activity. For what sake? For whose sake are we doing it? What is the purpose of doing it? So that is the knowledge part. So that purifies heart and elevates one to the next level. That's why Krishna says, purify even the great souls. It brings one to knowledge. When one comes to knowledge, when one can elevate to the next step. Please continue, Prabhu, the highlighted part in this purport.
Although all sacrifices are purifying, one should not expect any result by such performances. In other words, all sacrifices which are meant for material advancement in life should be given up. But sacrifices that purifying one's existence and elevate one to the spiritual plane should not be stopped. Everything that leads to Krishna consciousness must be encouraged.
Thank you. So that is what we are discussing here. Anything I have left? Just checking. Okay, next shloka. 7, 8, 9 is renunciation in 3 modes. Niyatasya tu sannyasa karmano nopapadyate mohatasya parityaga tamasa parikirtitaha. So in text number 6, Krishna established how this renunciation should be, how all activity should be performed. The sacrifice, charity, and penance is considered as activity, how it should be performed. So then he's going to speak on renunciation. Yes, please continue with the translation.
Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
So prescribed duty should never be renounced in an abrupt stage. Abruptly, one should never renounce prescribed duties. Have to be performed to please the Supreme Lord Krishna. So one thinks that, see, there are 2, I can give 2 examples. If one renounces family responsibility and actually take up Krishna consciousness and dedicate his life for the sake of preaching Krishna consciousness, that is something different. That doesn't come under this prescribed duties, giving renunciation in the mode of ignorance. If someone gives up family responsibility, because he is not responsible, he is lazy. He doesn't go for any work. He thinks that, oh, this is Maya. This example he gives, giving Krishna conscious excuse to it, but neither doing nothing here, nor doing anything in the family also. Like this is kind of like illusion. Prescribed it, oh, like family is illusion. Family members are actually burglars, these things, the example, but not taking responsibility. So this is exactly renunciation in mode of ignorance. Please continue, Prabhu, the highlighted part in the purport.
It is said that a person in the renounced order of life should not cook for himself. Cooking for oneself is prohibited, but cooking for the Supreme Lord is not prohibited. Similarly, a sannyasi may perform a marriage ceremony to help his disciples in the advancement of Krishna consciousness. If one renounces such activities, it is to be understood that he is acting in the mode of darkness.
So being a sannyasi, the Prabhupada conducted marriage ceremony. But later he gave up because they were not serious in what they were getting into. That's why he stopped conducting marriage ceremony. So anyway, the point here is we obtain results from our activities, and out of my false ego, I think that I am the doer and the fruits are mine to enjoy. But the true standard of renunciation is that we are renouncing the enjoying mentality and not considering ourselves like I am the result of, like I was a cause of the result of such and such activity. So that is the true standard of renunciation. Just I wanted to explain. Next is renunciation in mode of passion. Dukkhamiti eva yat karma kaya klesha bhaya tyajet sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labhe. Please read the translation.
Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of
Renunciation.
renunciation.
Please read the purport.
One who is in Krishna consciousness should not give up earning money out of fear that he is performing fruitive activities. If by working one can engage his money in Krishna consciousness, or if by rising earlier in the morning one can advance his transcendental Krishna consciousness, one should not desist out of fear or because such activities are considered troublesome. Such renunciation is in the mode of passion. The result of passionate work is always miserable if a person renounces work in that spirit.
Always
never-
miserable. Please, there is a full stop. Always miserable. If a
Rebel,
person renounces work in that
okay.
spirit,
he never gets the result of renunciation.
yes. Most of the time, whimsically, devotees do this kind of, giving up prescribed duty, thinking it is troublesome or out of bodily discomfort, which is in mode of passion. So one should be very careful, because we should remember Kamayesha, Krodayesha, Rajoguna Samudbhava. What is born out of passion? Kama and Krodha, and which is the eternal enemy, Krishna calls it. Kamayesha, Krodayesha, Rajoguna Samudbhava, Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Iha Vairinam. So what it will lead to? This Kama and Krodha, which is born out of passion, which actually push you to perform sinful activity, which is detrimental to one's progress in Krishna consciousness. So things should never be done in mode of passion. Of course, not in ignorance, but this is kind like very dangerous situation. Mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. Next is renunciation in mode of ignorance. Ignorance we have completed. Passion, now good. Karyamiti eva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko matah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness.
So this is what we should develop. In this mentality only we perform all our services. We perform our prescribed duty because this is what my authority I have told. This is what this is the service which I have given by my authority, my spiritual master, whatever it is. It is ought to be done. Then renounces all material association means we should not perform all these things in any of the lower modes. Not in mode of passion, not in mode of ignorance. That is what is renounces all material association. And we should not be attached to the fruit. So everyone glorifies that I did the Kirtan wonderful. I sang the Kirtan on Janmashtami prime time very nicely. The outfit which I designed, which was actually on the Janmashtami day, the deities were wearing and everyone glorified. So one should not be attached to such kind of fruit. Doing service to please the Supreme Lord. So that renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. Yes. How can one do? How can one develop this mode? By knowledge. How to develop that knowledge? By studying Prabhupada books in the association of devotees. Because very important. It is not that as soon as we take up devotional service, we are free from the three modes of material nature. Yes, we know theoretically, Devihi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mami Eve Prapatyante Mayam Etam Tarantite Mam Chayo Vyavicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samatityaitan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. But there is a conflict between me and the three modes of material nature. I'm constantly fighting with the three modes. Sometimes the modes overtake because of the conditioning. Obviously, since it is the divine energy of the Supreme Lord, it's stronger. So, how to keep myself in a mode of goodness constantly keeping ourselves in touch with scriptures. Constantly reading it so that introspecting which mode am I in, which mode is driving me. So sometimes the mode takes over. So then again, we need to come back, get good guidance from scriptures, and always try to be in mode of goodness. Okay. Yes, please, Vaibhavi, read it.
Prescribed duties must be performed with this mentality. One should act without attachment for the result. He should be disassociated from the modes of work. A man working in Krishna consciousness is in a factory does not associate himself with the work of the factory, nor with the workers of the factory. He simply works for Krishna, and when he gives up the result for Krishna, he is acting transcendently.
Because he is giving up all his results to the Supreme Lord. Okay. Next, text number 10. Yes, Gadadhar Prabhu.
Mataji, I have a question. So, Mataji, here Krishna explains renunciation in three modes: mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, is there any renunciation above mode of goodness, or the mode of goodness itself leads to the
mode of goodness
renunciation?
is, yes, that's what. Mode of goodness leads us to transcendental. That's why Krishna Prabhupada is clarifying, right? When he gives up the result for Krishna, he is acting transcendental. Slowly, one move towards pure goodness. That's the idea. That's why I said constantly we should keep ourselves in mode of goodness. Because we already discussed earlier that the material goodness has a tinge of passion and ignorance. So it has the power to actually pull a jiva down. So in order to become victim to that, right, we should not become victim to that. In order to prevent that, we should not become victim. So we should be constantly in mode of goodness. We need to work in progress. Yes, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, there is also a term I have heard in many of the lectures, Falgu Vairagya, the false renunciation.
False renunciation.
Yes, Mataji. So in which mode it will fall into?
False renunciation is like you are renouncing in mode of ignorance without knowing that it can be used in, could be like both, like we think that proper gives various examples, right? Typewriter, so many things. Everything can be engaged in Krishna's service. We are not renouncing it, thinking of it is material. Like for example, we are actually studying Bhakti Shastri in Zoom, right? We did not give up. We are utilizing it in Krishna's service. That is the renunciation. Okay, for that, how to practice this, the real vairagya, anasakta vishayan yatarham unpaidati, yukta vairagya, right? This yukta vairagya have to be learned from a uttamadikari. No one knows how to apply this yukta vairagya principle. It has to be learned from an uttamadikari. So when we are not aware of how things can be utilized in Krishna consciousness, then it can be renunciation in mode of we are not could be ignorance, because mode of passion, we are giving up something thinking that it is troublesome or out of bodily comfort, right? So I think it will fall in mode of ignorance with my little understanding.
Okay. Thank you.
So we are supposed to practice Ukta Vairagya, which has to be learned from an Uttamadikari. Of course, like Prabhupada, he knows, he utilized everything in Krishna's service. We can check with our concerned spiritual master and try to apply Ukta Vairagya principle. So it has to be learned properly. It is not that, just wanted to tell an example since you brought up this question, Prabhu. I wanted to buy a car, and so that I can actually take devotees in the car, take my spiritual master in that car. So is it Yukta Vairagya?
Yes, Mataji.
That's not Yukta Vairagya. I wanted to have a car, but I'm giving an excuse that I will take everyone. So Yukta Vairagya is, by the arrangement of providence, I have got some facilities. Whatever facilities I have got, I'm utilizing it in Krishna's service. I don't have to work for the car. The car will come automatically on its own. You got the difference, Prabhu? I did not apply any loan to get a car.
But Mataji, for Grihasthas, how the car will come automatically?
What I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, like, okay, in order to prevent taxation, whatever it is, you are taking a loan. That is something different, right? Please understand. You need to see, if you are working so much so that you will be able to get some money, so that you will be able to pay the loan. That is what I said, like that is not the proper Yukta Vairagya. I want to clarify.
Got it, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yes.
So
yes,
that is what I said, including Krishna in sense gratification.
Yes, Mataji.
That's okay. That's okay in the beginning. That's okay. Something we are replacing in Krishna service. That's okay. I'm just saying, we should understand the concept properly, not telling that oh, Prabhuji, Mataji, this is Yukta Vairagya, like, that's why I'm just clarifying.
Yes, Mataji.
On its own, yadricha labha santushto, on its own, things come. That I'm utilizing it in Krishna's service. Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Text number 10. Nadveshti akushalam karma kushalenanusajjate tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshayaha. Please read the translation.
The intelligent renouncer situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of an inauspicious work nor attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work.
Yeah, please continue the purport.
Krishna does not hate anyone or anything which troubles his body. He does work in the proper place and at the proper time without fearing the troublesome effects of his duty. Such a person, situated in transcendence, should be understood to be most intelligent and beyond all doubts in his act.
So if a person renounces in mode of goodness, right? What is the result? That is what Krishna is explaining in this verse. He is nor hateful of inauspicious work and nor attached to auspicious work, and he does not have any doubts regarding his work. What does it mean by that? So Arjuna is thinking fighting is inauspicious and giving up fighting, and he wanted to beg, he wanted to go to the forest and go and beg. He thought that is auspicious. But then Krishna actually clarified in the beginning itself. We discussed that he should not fight for his own sense gratification, he should fight for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So if a person intelligently renouncer, that intelligent renouncer is actually giving up the positive results and the negative results, and he has no doubts about activities. These are the symptom of a proper renunciation. So he thinks it will bring auspicious results. That is also binding. Inauspicious results also binding. Both are binding. It is not that by giving up fighting, he doesn't get results. By fighting for his own gratification, he gets results. But what Krishna is saying, you are fighting to please the Supreme Lord. In that case, that person is a real renouncer and he does not have any doubts about what. Such a person is situated in transcendence. He should be most intelligent, and there is no doubt in whatever activities he perform, because he is performing everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Text number 11. And also, Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu just wanted to add some more thing for
Yes, ma'am.
your question on. So we need to see text number 2 of NOI. What is text number 2 of NOI? Anyone can
Mataji,
answer. Yeah, anyone can answer for that.
अत्याहार प्रयासस्य प्रजल्प नियम आग्रह जनसंगस्य लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्ति विनश्यति.
Yes, please read the translation also.
One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being greedy for mundane achievements.
So here over endeavoring for mundane things, right? It's also said it is detrimental for practicing pure devotional service. So, but in order to get some facilities, we are over endeavoring and then wanted to utilize it in Krishna consciousness. And we also call it by Yukta Vairagya. That is what I said, Prabhuji.
Got it, Mataji. Yes, thank you.
Okay, next text number 11. Nahi deha bhrita shakyam tyaktum karmanyasheshatah yastu karma pala tyagi satyagiti abhidhiyate. Let's read the translation.
Translation. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced.
The significant word here is karma phala tyagi. So Krishna, even in 3rd chapter also, he clarified that the embodied being, that is the living entity's nature is to be very active. So he cannot give up activities. Even to maintain our own body, we need to work. Krishna said in 3rd chapter that even we need to maintain our own body, we need to work. So as a spirit soul is active, the embodied being cannot give up activity. But what he can give up is, he cannot give up activity, but what he can give up is the results of fruit of activities. That is what karma phala tyagi. That we do an activity, but we are not expecting any result out of that activity. That person is called as a true renouncer. Tyagi. Please read. Vishaka, where are you reading? Who was reading?
Purport.
Vishaka.
It is said in Bhagavad Gita that one can never give up work at any time. Therefore, he who works for Krishna and does not enjoy the fruitive results, who offers everything to Krishna, is actually a renouncer. There are many members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness who work very hard in their office or in the factory or some other place, and whatever they earn, they give to the society. Such highly elevated souls are actually sannyasis and are situated in the renounced order of life.
Okay. So, yeah, can someone think of an example that one earned money outside and contributed the whole amount for the movement? Yes, Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu.
Mataji, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj.
Okay, one
He
more
did that.
example.
Yes.
Yes, one more example. Thank you. for
John
bringing-
Harrison.
Yes, Krishna Priya Maji.
John Harrison, when he gave his entire money to Prabhupada.
Okay. Somebody else also initiated by Prabhupada. Yes, Shubham Prabhuji.
Mataji, maybe Ambrish Prabhu. He also like
Okay.
gave a lot of money.
Yes. Okay. Who else?
Mataji, was it Jayadev Prabhu?
Jayanand
whose
Prabhu.
photo-
Jayanand Prabhu.
Jayanand Prabhu.
Yes, all like Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, Amrish Prabhu, Jayanand Prabhu. He was actually working as a taxi driver and gave his entire money to Prabhupada. Actually, that is what the sacrifice which they have done to establishing the movement. Now, actually, we're enjoying in the movement in one sense. So they're actually sannyasis. Okay, there are others according to whatever proportion they contribute for the movement. According to that proportion, one is slowly renouncing the whatever hard-earned money. They are actually sannyasis. So even though they may not be, but just Krishna is saying that they are elevated because they have renounced. Text number 12. Anishtamishtamishram cha trividam karmana phalam bhavati atyaginam pretya natu sannyasinam pachet. Please read.
For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue
Accrue after death.
death, but those who are in the renounced order of life have no such results to suffer or enjoy.
So a person who did not renounce the result of his activity, then what is waiting for him after death? For the positive, whatever activities he did, he can have some enjoyment that is desirable. For whatever sinful acts, undesirable things are waiting. And it's a mixed combination of desirable and undesirable. Mixed, he will experience after death. But those who have renounced in the renounced order of life means those who are giving up the enjoying mentality, those who gave up the fruits of their result of their activities, they don't have to suffer or enjoy because they completely dedicated their activities for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and they are in transcendental state. Those who consider themselves as a result of their activity, they get some enjoyment, they get some suffering, and a combination of both. That is what Krishna is saying. Yes, please read the purport, Nishta Sharma.
A person in Krishna consciousness acting in knowledge of his
Relationship.
Relationship with Krishna is always liberated. Therefore, he does not have to enjoy or suffer the results of his acts after death.
So true renouncer, we discussed the true renouncer, he does all his activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, because he know the relationship between the Supreme Lord and himself. Considering himself as a servant, he does all activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So that's why he does not have to enjoy or suffer for the results. So then Krishna explains there are 5 factors for any activity to perform. 5 factors for any activity to be performed. What are the 5 factors? We will see. Text number 13. Panchaitani mahabhaho karanani nibodame sankhye kritante proktani siddhaye sarva karmanam. Please read.
Translation. For mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me.
Sorry. Actually, this is from the viewpoint of jnana. According to knowledge, how is it possible to act and yet remain free from reactions? So these are the 5 factors. What are the 5 factors? There are 5 factors we will see. Yes, so please continue the purport.
A question may be raised that since any activity performed must have some reaction, how is it that a person in Krishna consciousness does not suffer or enjoy the reactions of work? The Lord is citing Vedanta philosophy to show how this is possible. He says that there are 5 causes for all the activities, and for success in all activity, one should consider these 5 causes. Sankhya means the stock of knowledge, and Vedanta is the final stock of knowledge accepted by all the leading acharyas. Even Shankara accept Vedanta Sutra as such. Therefore, such authority should be consulted. The ultimate control is invested in the Supersoul. As it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaha Nidhi Sanivishtaha. He is engaged everyone in certain activities by reminding him of his past actions. And Krishna conscious acts done under his direction from within
Yield no reaction.
yield no reaction either in this life or in the life after death.
So why Krishna is explaining this verse here? So in order to actually help the practicing devotees to become detached from seeing ourselves as the doers and become bound. That is why we need to understand there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of any action. That's why he is giving us. So that Krishna is offering this help. We see, like Krishna is all merciful. In every step of life, he is helping us. So here, he is offering this help to become detached from seeing ourselves as the doer and become bound by the reaction. We discussed the 3 kinds of action, positive, negative, and the mixed, accrue after death. So what are the 5 activities? So I think the purport is very clear. Is there anything which I did? Okay, what else? So what are the 5 activities? Let us see in this. So I also said from the viewpoint of jnana, how one actually, this is the knowledge from the viewpoint of jnana, like how by performing an act, one can be free from reaction. What is that knowledge? Doing everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord has the capacity that it's a supremacy of pure devotional service, that one is free from all kinds of reaction. So what are the 5 causes? Text 14. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha pritak vidham vividah cha pritak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. This is called as science of action. This verse is called as science of action. Yeah. Yes, please read the translation.
Translation. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. These are the five factors of action.
Action. So Adhishtanam is a body. With the help of the body only, we are performing the activity. The doer, that is the living entity, performer. And various senses are involved in doing one activity. The various senses, the body is made up of, the various senses and the body is made up of what?
24 elements.
24 elements. And 24 elements in Sanskrit we call it
Mahatattva.
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 24 elements. We call it simple word. One more word.
Mataji, field?
Field is okay. What more Sanskrit term I'm expecting?
Kshetra.
Kshetra is faulty. That is what I'm asking. This field is made up of what? Kshetra is field. Void field is body. Body is made up of 24 elements. 24 elements, we call it in Sanskrit what? Prakriti. Okay, so Prakriti. Why am I asking this? Because we'll discuss one more verse. That's why I'm asking. The place of action, the performer is the living entity, right? He is not made up because he is Jiva, right? The body and the various senses are made up of 24 elements. The different kinds of endeavor, we need to endeavor in order to achieve an action. Ultimately, whose action? The super soul. Unless the super soul gives permission, we cannot achieve an action. Okay, we'll discuss further. Yes, I have something important in this purport. Yes, please read the purport.
The word adhishtatam refers to the body.
Adhishtanam
refers to the body. The soul within the body is acting to bring about the results of the activity and is therefore known as karta, the doer. That is the soul. That's the soul is the knower, and the doer is stated in the Shruti. Esa hi dashta
Shrashta.
Shrashta.
Prashna
It is
Upanishad.
Prashna Upanishad. It is also confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra by the verse Gyano Atva Eva
Eva.
and Karta Sastra.
Karta Shastrarthavatvat. Karta Shastrarthavatvat. 2.3.33. Yes.
The instrument of action are the senses. But all one's activities depend on the will of the super soul, who is seated within the heart as a friend. The Supreme Lord is the super cause. Under these circumstances, he who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of a super soul situated within the heart is naturally not bound by any activity. Those in complete Krishna consciousness are not ultimately responsible for their actions. Everything is dependent on the supreme will, the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead.
So we discussed the 5 kinds of action. In that, whose sanction is important? Whose
Super
sanction
soul.
is important?
Super soul.
Super soul. I may be performing, there may be endeavor, doer is there, senses are involved, but unless the Supreme Lord sanction, we cannot perform an action. So the first point, what Prabhupada is saying here, the soul within the body is bringing the result. So that is why the soul is called as knower and doer. He is the knower and he is the doer. Of course, unless the Supreme Lord sanctions, he cannot. He cannot. But a Krishna conscious person does everything to please the Supreme Lord. That is what in the pink one, which I have highlighted, because all activities depend on the supreme will of the Lord. So when we perform everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, one is not bound by any reaction. So one more thing, for now we will recall the three causes. Who remember the three causes which we discussed earlier? What are the three causes? The three causes for action. We'll just recall the three causes. Who remembers? Super cause, immediate cause, responsible cause. Who is the responsible cause? Go to flashback.
Jiva.
Yes, Jiva. What cause, Prabhu?
Responsible cause.
Responsible cause. Immediate cause?
Prakriti.
Super soul.
Prakriti. The three modes of material nature. Okay. Super cause?
Krishna.
Super soul.
Krishna. So now one more thing, that the soul is the knower and the doer. We also have to remember that the Jiva is responsible for his own suffering and enjoying. The Jiva, that's what in the 5th chapter Bhagavad Gita we also discussed. The three causes also we discussed there. That the soul is the knower and the doer. So the Jiva alone is the agent. The Prakriti is just acting. Prakriti, that is why it is the immediate cause. Prakriti is not the agent for our suffering. The Supreme Lord is also not the agent for our suffering. We are the own reason for our suffering. So for this, in the Vedanta Sutra, I just focus on this. Karta Shastrartha Vatva. Please try to understand it. Karta Shastrartha Vatva. So we are actually, as soon as we came in contact with the material world, all our activities are actually mobilized by the three modes of material nature. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sharvasha akar vihunnamatma kartaham iti mate. Everything is done by the three modes of material nature. Krishna also clarified in the 5th chapter Bhagavad Gita, 5.14, I think. So everything is done by the three modes of material nature. So I just want to say something. So I'm killing someone. I killed that person. Okay. So I am saying that I killed that person because the three modes actually pushed me. So that's the reason why I killed. So is it right? I did not do. The three modes only pushed me to act.
Not right.
No.
Not right. Okay. So that is what in this verse says, that Karta is the doer. In order to do our activity, in order to actually guide my life, Shastra is given. I am not like a robo, like the three modes are actually acting upon me, and I'm acting as if like a robo is being moved by a machine. Under the instruction of the robo, the machine, the robo is acting. So similarly, the three modes of material nature are acting. So that is why I am moving. One should not have this one. Because in the human form of life, that is the reason why Shastra is given, so that we refer all our activities from the Shastra. So 2 points. Prakriti is not the agent. The three modes are not the agent. The Jiva alone is the agent. And how the Jiva will actually take guidance from in the human form of life, that is the reason why Shastra is given. That I refer all my activities through the Shastra. That is why Karta Shastrartha Vatva. That is the significance. So I'm just going to this. This is important. Karta Shastra Vatva. For all our activities in a human form of life, that we cannot say that three modes are actually pushing me. That's why I'm doing. But we have the intelligence, the consciousness is there. That is why in the human form of life, there is Shastra given. So one take reference and perform all activities according to the Shastra. In the lower life form, this cannot be applied. Obviously, they are forced to perform all their activities according to the pushings of the three modes of material nature. Only in human form of life, like we can take help of the Shastra, or we just be in darkness. And we cannot say, because I'm in darkness, I'm ignorance. That is the reason Shastra is given. Okay, so something important, significant, which I wanted to highlight here. Okay. Text number 15. So is it clear? Karta, Shastra, Atvat, for everyone it is clear? Okay. Yes, Jyoti, you are agreeing to what I said?
Yes, Mataji, I had one question.
Okay, yes.
For animals in dog breeds, for example, there are different types of dogs. Some dogs are very loving, some are very violent, some they bite immediately, some they. So how do we understand this? Because they don't have their own intelligence. So the different.
Yeah, see, that is also according to different karma. Some are in a higher breed, some are in a, some dogs are street dogs, stray dogs. Some dogs are actually traveling in BMW, right? So even in their past life, within that past life, they have, of course, their activities were in ignorance. Something is there. So within that dog body, there are some better facilities. Some dogs are enjoying, some dogs no one to take care. Like similarly, whatever you said, no, some dogs are like biting, some dogs are loving, some dogs are not so loving. And of course, we have to become God lovers, not dog lovers. So Jyoti, you got the answer?
Yes, Mataji, I had similar, one second part of this question is,
yes,
in a human form, due to after going through various experiences, we go from one mode to another. Like initially we are in ignorance, then we go to passion, then in goodness, like that. So in animals also, through two different experiences, like being some getting mistreated or some getting too much of love, they also transmute through all these modes.
of course they are in the lower modes only, but what I'm saying, within that their past life, they have done something. So within that dog body, some are treated nicely, some are not treated. I'm not saying they are already in ignorance. That body itself is in the mode of ignorance. They can't come out of that nature, right? That's what we discussed in 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So what I'm saying, so within that, some piety they might have done, some good thing they have done. So that is why some is reaping that kind of result, someone is reaping a different kind of result, even though both are in the same dog body.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
So you got the answer. So within that ignorant, some action, they both have received the same dog body, but something they have done. So that's why you see. And also one more thing which I wanted to say, the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. I'm not saying, the Lord himself is saying in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think 4.19, karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, something. The first two lines, 4.19. Can someone quickly go through the verse? 4.19, I think. Since yes, Jyoti, since you asked.
Yes, Mataji, I'm opening. 4.19
yes.
is Yasya Sarves
No, I want the verse. I think this number is something. So who can find out that?
Okay.
Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha. The
yes,
intricacies of karma are very difficult.
4.1 Karma eni karma ya pashyet. This one?
Yes. Please read the translation.
Yes, Mataji. One who sees inaction in action and action.
No. The intricacies of karma, that's the okay, please continue.
One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men and is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities.
No. I want the translation is, the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand.
4.17, Mataji.
Okay.
4.17.
I said 4.19. Yes, 4.17. Please read the translation, Pandit Gadadhar Prabhu.
The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
So what forbidden action is?
Like things which we are not supposed to do.
Yeah, sinful activity. That is vikarma. What is action?
What we are supposed to do.
That is karma. And but actually what we are supposed to do?
Follow the sastras.
No,
Akarma.
akarma. Yes, thank you, Nishta Sharma. We are neither doing karma nor should not do vikarma. We should do akarma, which does not produce any reaction.
Reactions.
Yeah, is it clear, Jyoti? So the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. Of course, I said that within that dog body, that might have done some piety, so that's why it is actually getting all facility. So I know, like we were actually joking. One god sister of mine, she went to her friend's home. So they were actually treating the dog like a small baby. That this god sister of mine called the dog as a dog. How can we call something that we call the dog as a dog? And this lady got very upset that how can you call a dog a dog? That dog has a particular name, so that should be called by that name. So I mean, some piety within that dog body it might have done in the past life. So it's getting that kind of treatment. Anyway, like we were joking. So as I said, we should focus on God, not dog. Of course, we can give Krishna Prasadam to all living entities. Okay, text number 15. Shariravan manobhiryat karma prarabhate narah nyayam va viparitam va panchayite tasya hetavah. Yes, please read. 15, please read. So many are observing Mauna Vratas, I think, today, after Janmashtami.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors.
So even to perform right action, even to perform wrong action, these 5 factors are involved. So what is right or wrong? Who judges right or wrong? My mind, right? Who judges right or wrong action?
Intelligence.
Who judges right or wrong action? Yes,
Shastras.
Shastras. So Prabhupada says clearly here, not some people have the tendency, my mind says right, so I did. What mind has to do? Is it mind a big authority? No, if we are not the body means we are not the mind. So right or wrong have to be referred in terms of Shastra. That is why we discuss Karta Shastravatvat from the Upanishad. Text number 16. Tatraivam sakti kartaram atmanam kevalam tu yaha pashyati akrita buddhitvan nasa pashyati durmatihi.
Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are.
A foolish will think that I am the reason, I am the doer. And he doesn't understand who sanctioned that, this foolish person. Who sanctioned
The
he did
super
not?
soul.
Yeah, the super soul. Considering the 5 factors, the prime factor is the sanction of the super soul. So, and he thinks that he is the karta. That is why if the Sanskrit we see tatraivam sati kartaram. He thinks that he is the doer without considering the 5 factors. The prime factor is the sanction of the super soul. He is not very intelligent and he cannot see things as they are. Because the other 4 are material causes, right? The other 4 are material causes. The super soul sanction is the prime. Prabhupada calls it efficient cause as well. Okay, next 17. Yasya na hankrito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate atvapi sayima lokan nahanti na nibhadyate. And what is the result for that person? Yeah, please continue.
One who is not motivated by false ego whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions.
So one who does not think that he is the doer and he understands the 5 causes of accomplishment for any action. So the prime factor is the Supreme Lord's sanction. So for him, his intelligence is not entangled. Even though he kills, he does not kill because he is killing for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. His example is Arjuna. Krishna wanted Arjuna to kill the opposite party for his own pleasure. So even though he kills, he will not be bound by his own action. Now, please read the highlighted part.
If one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instruments of work, himself as the worker, and the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Sanctioner, is perfect in doing everything. Such a person is never in illusion. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness or a lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the Super Soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though killing, does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reaction of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, then he is certainly judged by a court of law. Hare Krishna.
Very important example. So this person, he understands everything. Instruments of work means senses, himself. He himself has to do, and also the Supreme Lord sanction, the endeavor, and he needs a body. So he understands everything. So he's not in illusion. Prabhupada giving example of a soldier killing under the command of a superior officer. Text 18. Jnanam jneyam pratigyata trividha karma chodana karanam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha. Please continue.
Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the three constituents of action.
So Krishna is actually speaking about the impetus to do any work. So one should have the knowledge of it. What is the object of knowledge? And he should know how to do that. Okay. Yeah. The person who knows how to do it is the knower. So, like I can give an example. Give some North Indian, okay, let's say gulab jamun, right? One should have the knowledge of how to make the jamun. What is the object of knowledge now? What is the
Proportion of things.
Huh?
The proportion of things.
Okay. So yeah, what is the end product? What we are looking for? That's the object.
Gulab jamun. Gulab jamun.
Gulab jamun is the object of knowledge, and one who knows, one who has this knowledge is the knower. If I don't have, so the knower may not be the doer, but I have the knowledge that there is something called as gulab jamun. Okay, that's my object of knowledge which I wanted to taste. But I can tell someone to do it. But that inspiration comes from a person who has knowledge of that gulab jamun. So the knower and doer may not be the same person, maybe the same person, doesn't matter. Right? So that's the, like, when I have this knowledge, then okay, I think of eating it. I'm just giving an example so that everyone could relate it. So that motivates a person to prepare. That's an impetus. So what all things are involved in preparing the gulab jamun? The senses, the working senses. I need to go to the market. I need to buy whatever, khoya, mawa, whatever, sugar, this, milk powder. So for that, I need to work. Different senses are involved on the doer. One who knows. Also, I just said it may not necessary knower and doer may be different person. A knower and doer could be the same person also, doesn't matter. Just Krishna is explains the three kinds of impetus for a daily work. So I hope with the example, everyone will be clear. The knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. These are the three which motivates action, which is an impetus to do an action. And how to do that work? We involve senses. That's like I said, in order to prepare gulab jamun, different senses are required. Hands and legs are required. We need to stand and work. And then the work itself, we need to get things. And then the do are the three constituents of action. This is the impetus. Yes, please continue. The
Any
highlighted part.
solution arrived Any solution arrived at before work is actualized as a subtle form of work. Then work takes the form of action. First, one has to undergo the psychological process of thinking, feeling, and willing, and that is called impetus. The inspiration to work is the same if it comes from the scripture or from the instruction of the spiritual master. When the inspiration is there and the worker is there, then actual activity takes place by the help of the senses, including the mind, which is the center of all the senses.
So Prabhupada here says that first, the idea of gulab jamun, from where it comes?
Mind.
Mind. In the mind, I'm thinking about it, I'm feeling for it, I'm in love with it, and willing to have it. Right? That's the impetus. Then Prabhupada clarifies, this impetus should come from who? Important point. Impetus, the inspiration to work should come from scripture or the instruction of the spiritual master. Because simply I'm thinking of having gulab jamun, it's just a sense that was for the sake of example, I just said, but I'm just, again, one more clarification. It should come from the inspiration to do devotional surveys, come from scripture or the instruction of the spiritual master is the same. What does it mean by when Prabhupada writes same? The three constitution of action is there also. That is what when Prabhupada says is the same if it comes from the scripture or from the instruction of the spiritual master. Text 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridhaiva guna bhedatah prochyate guna sankhyane yetavat shrunutanyapi. Let's read.
Translation. According to the three different modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge, action, and performer of action. Now hear of them from me.
So according to the three modes, again Krishna is going to explain, because in the previous translation, we discussed knowledge, knower, that is the doer, and the work. In the second part, work, action. So then it takes us to knowledge. The work itself is the action, and the performer is the doer. So knowledge in three modes, work or action in three modes, and the doer in three modes. Now hear of them from me. So what we will do, we will be meeting on Monday, right? So I will ask Rukmini Harisevini. Now itself I can tell. So Krishna will explain about knowledge in three modes, action in three modes, doer in three modes. So again, we divide into three groups. And the first group can discuss about these three things, knowledge, action, and performer in three modes. What are all the things in 18th chapter? Happiness in three modes, understanding in three modes, determination in three modes. All these things Krishna will explain in three modes. Knowledge, here now the first part is knowledge, action, and the doer. Next is happiness, understanding, determination. So 6 things are there. You can divide into 3 groups and bring up with an important, as I said, you can do bullet points with a PowerPoint, or you can explain whatever is good if we make a PowerPoint so that we can focus on the screen and we can also learn. Yes, Daya, I didn't hear from you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I am having academic exam from next month. It's very soon, so I'll not get time for this. Can I like group exercise? And I don't have time for reading.
Can you just you can utilize some half an hour? Saturday, Sunday?
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, just half an hour. It's not much actually, not much, but not long purports. Mainly translation in which we should know the concept of everything in 3 different modes. That is what is the purpose of the group exercise. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
So till 19, I wanted to finish today. So thanks to the Supreme Lord that I was able to finish until 19. Because next is all the 6 things which I said. It's in 3 modes Krishna is going to speak. And then the Brahmana duty, Kshatriya duty, Vaishya duty, and Shudra duty based on the 3 modes of material nature. Krishna is actually first speaking the 3 modes, and then he says, according to the 3 modes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are divided, and what are the qualities, and what one should do in order to reach that surrender. The final is Sarvadharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. In order to reach that surrender, what Krishna is actually telling us to. So we will discuss, we'll meet on Monday, 7 to 9. We'll start with if you have time, please do the preparation for the group work. And as soon as we come, we can present and then move further to the next verses. If anything important, then I will definitely highlight in a class discussion. So I'll stop here. Have a Krishna conscious weekend. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Kanantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Lord Premanande Hare Hare Bol. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much,
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Pranam to all devotees. Hare Krishna.